Hey guys, it's Mr. Hing here. I hope you're all well. If you could smell what's at my house, it's like curry. It's so good. Just fun fact before we get started. Um, yeah, I hope you're well. I wanted to chat to you about transformations, and I hope this video is, well, it's kind of like a crash course. It's not covering everything, but it's covering quite important things that is typically asked in an exam or in a test. So why don't we get yeah, straight into it. Okay, so guys, what we are doing today is okay, I say it's transformations, but we are dealing with the first two types, which are rigid transformations. And what rigid transformations means is that when we move our points or shapes or whatever they give us on the Cartesian plane, it will not change size or shape, but it will change positioning. Okay, so it will change positioning, but it won't change the shape or the size of whatever we are moving. Okay, so let's have a look. So, number one is going to be what's called translation. That is the first type of transformation, the first type of movement. And then number two is reflection, where we should think about almost like a mirror image. So let me just quickly make a rough thing. When I say reflection, guys, what does reflection mean? Well, if you look in a mirror, if a star is over here and we are reflecting it in this line, the star should appear not here, but more or less over here, right? Now, if I have a triangle like this, and I'm reflecting in a line like that, a reflection goes perfectly just like that, right? It's not going to be over here, or like on the same side over here. It's not going to be over here. A reflection works like this, where if the triangle is over here, the reflection in this specific line would be more or less over here. So I'm going to show you exactly how the examiner or educators expect you to reflect and in which specific lines they will ask you to reflect in. So let's jump right in, guys. So we're first going to deal with translations. Now, with translations, I've just highlighted over here in green that translations is when a point or shape or whatever you're dealing with, it either is going to move up or down, and it can move left or right. Okay, even in the same question, it can move up or down and left or right, okay, in which we call horizontal and vertical. And I'm going to explain to us the very important parts of it. Okay, so let's go. Let's do that. So translation. Um, sorry, these words over here, it shouldn't be up and down. It should be up or down over here, because obviously if you're moving up, you're moving up. If you're moving down, you're moving down. And then it's left or right. Let's just do that. Okay, cool. All right, let's get started. So for horizontal, guys, obviously horizontal means going this way, all right? So I've drawn these two arrows. If we're going left or right, it affects which coordinate, guys. Let's say, for instance, I have a coordinate. Let's use white. Let's say, for instance, I have a coordinate of 6 and 2. If I am moving left or right, it's going to affect my x coordinate, in which case my x coordinate is 6. So the value of 6 will change, will either go up or it will go down depending if I'm going left or right. Now the next point is very important. If we move right, if we're going to the right, we add to the x coordinates. So if I have this point over here on the Cartesian plane, and don't worry, I'm going to give examples now, but let's say I have a point 6 and 2 on my Cartesian plane, and it says it has moved right, then this value is going to shoot up. We're going to add to that, because let's say, for instance, we at 6. Let's say, for instance, we at 6 on my Cartesian, or it would be 6 and 2, which would be here, 6 and 2, and we're moving right, then my x value, the x value is increasing. It will go from 6 to whatever, 7, 8, 9, whatever. Okay, so I just wanted to explain that to you. I think this might be quite a lengthy video now that I'm thinking of it because I'm trying to explain it quite well, which I think I'm doing a good job at the moment. Although, yeah, I should be humble there. Okay, let's carry on. Sorry, sometimes I think out loud. All right, so that is moving right. If we move left, we subtract from the x coordinate. So let's say, for instance, I'm at over here. Let's say, for instance, my coordinate is -7, and this is the y value is 1. If we're going left, obviously my x value will decrease even more. Okay, I hope that is making sense to you. Okay, and why I'm going through it um, relatively at a good pace is because I'm going to do examples anyway. Okay, let's look at vertical. So when we look at vertical, guys, it's got to do with going up, or going down. Okay, so this is obviously going to affect the y coordinate. So if I have, let's say I can use an example here. If let's say this is -7 and -1 over here. If I'm going to go up, what's going to happen to my y coordinate? It's going to increase, well, plus. If I'm going down, if we move down, we subtract from the y coordinate. So if I'm going down maybe 2 units, it would be my new coordinate would be -7. This stays the same, obviously. We're not moving that. We're not moving horizontally. So that would stay the same. And we would say -1, and we would subtract 2 units. So subtract it, 2 units from the -1, and essentially it would end up with giving us a new coordinate of what? -3. Okay, because then if we go 1, 2, this new coordinate here would be -7, -7, and -3. Okay, again, I hope that makes sense. I'm going to move on, and we are going to go straight into examples. Okay, let's have a look. So join me over here. If the question says, let me just choose a color here. Consider the translation, or rather, let's have a look here. Let's study this, guys. How do we read what is happening over here? So we have a point A. We can read it off the Cartesian plane. I haven't written in the actual coordinates. This one would be -2 and 1. So if you want, I can just write -2 and 1. That's how I read it. And then this little apostrophe over here means the A has been transformed. It's been moved in one way or another, right? So in this case, we have moved over here all the way to 3 and 4. And then so on for B, it also is transformed. So it says consider okay, it's telling us there was a translation. What does translation mean? Let me take you back to the basics. Translation refers to it has either moved up or down and left or right. Okay? Yeah. Remember, sorry, I just wanted to clarify. It doesn't always need to be moved up or down and left or right. If it's just a movement of up and down, up or down, that is fine. Okay, I'm just letting you know. So let's carry on. So it says consider the translation of A to A transformed and B to B being transformed, right? So it's the first question is describe the translation for both translations. Okay, so it's talking about for both. So for this translation and for B to B transformed for this one. Okay, so let's start with A to A transformed. What did I write here? So guys, what I wrote was that this is how you describe it. Please, this is quite a typical question. I see it a lot in textbooks. So it says describe the translation. This is how you do it. You will say the translation is, and then you describe how it has been moved, okay, according to a translation movement. So you first put the x first put the x the horizontal movement. So can we count together the horizontal movement of from -2 to this point? We went -2, right? So it's going 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? We along here. So it's moved 5 units to the right. Okay, that's what I said. The translation is 5 units to the right. And then it's gone 1, 2, 3. So it's gone 3 units up. So I said 5 units to the right and 3 units up. And that is your full marks. That is how you describe the translation. Okay. Okay, let's have a look at B to be transformed. The translation is 3 units. Oh, sorry, I'm going through the answer. So what you would say here is B to be transformed. So the translation is, let's go. So let's check the horizontal movement. So it's 1, 2, 3, right? So it's 3 units to the right, and then it's gone. So 1, 2, 3, we over here at the moment, and then let's go down. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's and 4 units down. Okay, so that is, and you get your full marks there. So that is how you do your description, describing the translation. Let's jump into a type of question where it asks us to write down the rule. Okay, this is a very typical question also. It says, write down a rule for the translations in the form. So, Mr. Hing, what the heck does this mean? Well, I will tell you now. So it's basically telling you to write down what happened to the x value and what happened to the y value. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's have a look. So for this first one over here, um, a to the a transformed, what happened, or the rule that we're going to write down is what happened to my x? Well, what happened to my x? That sounds like a song. Sorry. Okay, where was I? So, yeah, so guys, we're dealing with the x, right? So what's going to happen is, what did I say? I said that if we move right, we add. Okay, if we move left, we subtract. So guys, for A to A transformed, from A to A transformed, did we move right or left? We definitely moved right. So we are going to add. So we added 5 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then regarding the up or down, the up or the vertical, the up or down movement, we went 1, 2, 3. So we went up. So are we going to plus or are we going to minus? We're going to plus. So it would be y plus 3. And this, guys, over here, this is so important. This is exactly how you answer giving the rule in this form. Please do it in that form when they ask you to do that. This is how you get all your marks, okay? Then B to be transformed. So same thing, we're going to ask ourselves what happened to the x value. Did we go right to get over here? Did we go right or did we go left? We definitely went right. So we're going to add. So what happened to my x value? We added 3. So let's go to add 3. So the translation is 3 units to the right. So we added 3. And then the y value went down 4. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Okay. So the y value, we subtracted 4 from the y value. Okay, so that is that, guys. Please again state it like this, okay, to get your full marks. Okay, right, take a little break and then we are going to go into reflection. I do really encourage you to take a break, 5 minutes or so, and then come back and let's do reflection together. So let's do this, guys. You need to know about reflections in the following. Okay, this is very important. Reflections in the x axis or the y equals 0 line. Please remember, if we have an axis, remember the x axis, this axis over here, is when y is not 1, is not 2, y is 0. So that's what it means when we are talking about the y equals 0 line. It is the exact same thing as saying the x-axis. Okay, so they will ask us about reflections in the x-axis, in the y-axis, which is then the other way around. It's known as the x equals 0 line. Yeah, so this is y equals 0, this is x equals 0. And then lastly, we must also know about the reflection in the y equals x line. Okay, so this over here is so important. Okay, so what happens when we are asked about reflection in the x-axis? Well, please tattoo this on your brain, okay? This is so important. The rule is when we reflect in this line or this axis, the x value stays the same, but the y value changes sign. This is an important example. If my point on the Cartesian plane is 2 and 5, what did I say? Let's follow the rule. The x value stays the same, so it would become 2, right? Stays the same, but then my y value changes sign. It gets a negative. And if it was a negative, what would it be? It would change into a positive. Great. And then we're going to implement that now, just now. Okay, let's have a look at y-axis. Y-axis is the opposite, guys. So in reflection in the y-axis, the y value stays the same, and then the x value changes sign. So this is another important example. If I have a point on a Cartesian plane, this could even be like a multiple choice question. If I have a point -2, what happens? The x value changes sign. So, aha. Yeah, I made a little boo-boo there. Sorry. The x value, sorry, yeah, as I said, I made a little error here. So that would change. The y value changes. It becomes a plus. You don't need to write that down. And then let me just change that. I actually wanted it to be color of white. The y value stays the same. So let's say, for instance, I draw a little Cartesian plane here, and we have -2 and -1. So let's say, for instance, we have a point here, -2, sorry, it's -2 and -1. So if we had -2, -1, and then we reflect it in the y-axis. Let's see what happens. So the y-axis is over here, right? So it should shift over here if my rule is correct. So then it becomes +2, and the y value stays the same, -1. See, so that is how it works. But I'm going to show you some more examples now. Okay, and then lastly, when I reflect in the y equals x line, this is very simple and very easy. All you need to do is interchange. That's a big word. You can also use the word, we're just going to swap the x and y values around. So if you want me to draw a line like this, we are going to swap these for our rule, okay? So also I can just write a rule down here. I should write the rules for all of them so that you can study that. So what would happen is what did I say? The x will become the y will become the x, and the x will become the y. So the rule looks like that basically. Okay, so as you can see, the 2 now became the value of the y value, and then the -3 now took place of the x value. So that's what happens. Let me just write it in here. So x, y, the rule that happens is that my y value stays the same and my x value changes sign, and then the one at the top, what's going to happen is it's going to be x, y, and what's going to end up happening is the x value stays the same and my y value changes sign. Okay, guys, so please note that down. These are like super, super important. Okay, now are you ready for the big bad questions? Let's go. Right, so number one is saying, what is it saying? Reflect, okay, and plot on the Cartesian plane, obviously. A, so where's A? Let's find A. A is over here. All right. So it says reflect A in the x equals 0 line. Now, guys, what does that mean? Please remember, they could ask it like this in the test. This also means in the y-axis, okay? The y-axis, please. What happens here? Tell me the rule, okay? The y value stays the same, am I right? And then the x value changes sign. So let's have a look. So if I'm over here and I say there's 2 and -2. What did I just say now? The y value will stay the same. What's my y value? -2. So my y value stays the same and my x value changes sign. So from 2 and -2, we're going to go to -2 because my x value changes sign, -2, and then my y value stays the same. So then it's -2 and -2. And that is how I get A transformed. Okay, that is your answer over there. All right, that'd be important marks to get in the test. Let's try reflect and plot B in the x-axis and label it B transformed. Okay, so what happens for my x-axis, guys? This is also known as what? It's also known as the y equals 0 line. I'm just making you aware. So what happens is that my x values, what? Stay the same, and my y value changes sign. So let's do that together. So b is over here, and I've done it for us already. So b, it's -4 and -1. What happens for the x-axis? My x value stays the same, so -4, and my y value changes sign, so it'll become -4 and 1. And guys, can't you actually see that that is what has, sorry, that is actually what has happened? If I'm reflecting in this line over here, can you see that this has perfectly reflected in the x-axis line? I hope you can see that. Okay, and then lastly, guys, let's look at C. So C is reflection in the y equals x line and label it C transform. So what did we say about the y equal x line? They just simply swap positions. So over here, C is over here, and it is 3, 1, 2, 3, and it's moved up 2, so it's 3 and 2. And if we swap them, it should become 1, 2, 2, and 3. So it'll be 2 and 1, 2, 3. So that is 2 and 3, and that's C transformed, and that is your full marks over there. Okay, please, I want to just indicate here. Can you see that? It's actually, um, sorry, let me just draw that again. I want to show you that it is a reflection, but this isn't completely straight. But can you see this is the y equals x line? And can you see, I didn't draw it perfectly, but the reflection of this, sorry, the reflection of this point, oh my word, the reflection of this point is reflected in the y equals x line. They're almost like equidistant according to that line that I drew, which wasn't perfect, but just wanted to, I hope you can see that that is the reflection. Okay, guys, almost done here. Let's answer these two questions. So which 2 points are a reflection in the y-axis, sorry, D and E or F and G? Let's have a look. So the y-axis, I'm just going to highlight it here for us. The y-axis is here, right? So is D and E a reflection of each other in the y-axis, or is G and F? Well, it's definitely, you can see D and E are reflection. And also, how can I tell? Because what is the rule um regarding a reflection in the y-axis? What's the rule? The y values stay the same, so E would be 1 and 2, and this is -1 and 2. So my x value changed sign and my y value stayed the same. So that's how I know. So my answer is simply just going to be it's D and E. Okay, let's do B. State the rule of this reflection in the form x and y, and then what it becomes. So guys, remember, this is a typical question. We need to know how to do this. Let's have a look. So obviously I explained the rule over here when we are reflecting in the y-axis, sorry. So what happens in the y-axis? I wrote the rule here. X and y, it becomes negative x and y. So let's just write that in. So your answer would be like this, and uh, it becomes negative x and y. Okay, and then lastly, if G has been translated to F, let's have a look. It's saying if G was translated and it became F, state the rule of the translation in the form. So they are saying that they want to know what has happened to your x value and what has happened to your y value in this form. So it's asking you to state the rule. So let's do that together. It's very similar to this question over here, guys, which is vital. because it's so typical, this question. So let's first see what happened. How did it translate horizontally? So if we're going from G, which is -1, we're going 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we're at 6, and then it's gone up. So, well, let's first put that there in our answer. So what has happened in the rule in this form is what happened to my x value is we plus 7, right? So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then what did we do to our y value? Let's have a look. So if we're over here, we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that is how much we moved on the in the vertical direction. So we're going to add 6 to the y value. And that, guys, brings me to the end of, yeah, just a crash course on the two types of transformations. I hope it was helpful. Yeah, please let me know if you have any questions. Please comment in the section below, and I'll be sure to try attend to it as soon as possible. Yeah, but with all of that being said, guys, yeah, all of the best. Cheers.